system is fucking crazy, man. It's so cool. They really elevated and amplified the hell out of it in part 2, which is, it's almost hard to play part 1 because part 2 is so much better. There is clear paths that they could take with part 3 and that combat system to make it better, to make it more engaging, and to give you access to the full party. So I think that in the same way that we got a combat system from part 1 to part 2, so much better. Incredibly better combat system. I don't know if we're going to get an incredibly better one, but I think it is going to be a similar thing that is better. We're just going to get more cool stuff to do. I think triple synergy attacks is obviously a route they can go. Access to the full party is routes they can go. More cool stuff you can do with party members is very cool, man. People loved that shit in Chrono Trigger back in the day, and it's one of the cooler things that's in part 2 already. What if you can do multi-team-up attacks? Like, this is going to turn into the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 of, like, JRPG combat systems, but my dude, what if there's, like, literal giant team shit that you can build up to eventually? Multi-team techs. Fuck it. The sky's the limit. This is the last game, man. This is the last game to, like, literally pander to this audience and make these characters do the coolest team-up shit ever. This is it. So, to me, I don't really see them changing the entirety of combat. I don't see that happening. Personally speaking, it would be almost detrimental because of how improved the combat was over part 1. We have to think back to part 1 and 2, how much different it was to engage with the world. What did you do? If you weren't obviously, like, crit pathing things, dude, if you crit path Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 and 2, it's not that crazy. If you crit path part 1, that's a way better game. Doing only story stuff is actually, it makes part 1 a way better game. It's like 25 hours and it's awesome. It's great, dude, but when you have to do like all of this stuff that sort of like pads out the game, it doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel necessarily like amazing. Rebirth, I don't know if it is that way, but I'm assuming it also is. Where Rebirth's first playthrough is like kind of magical, but on subsequent playthroughs, I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do all this shit again. I really don't need to do all this shit again. I kind of just want to like focus on the big moments and the big elements, you know? So that was a way that like you engage with the world, you know? I'm very curious how I think exploration is going to be the goal of part 3. Like legit exploration. In the same way that exploration and actual discovery was a huge part of the original Final Fantasy VII, and exploration and discovery were completely missing from part 2, man. You sort of got it on your first playthrough, but when you understood how every area worked and what the area was asking you to accomplish, by the time you got to Cosmo Canyon, you were like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, I'm going to scan this thing, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. It needs to not be as formulaic, just in general. For a lot of Japanese devs, there is a lot of folks that are making games that are like, we're putting all this time into this content and people aren't going to do it, you know? We have to make sure they do it, you know? To me, that devalues the content. As a person that enjoys the discovery process of games and having the world engage the player, dude, the whole point of it is that you have to be able to miss it. Was the discovery obvious? Yeah, it was pretty obvious I needed to go that way and do that, but guess what? I didn't have the predisposition that I needed to go and do this shit. Figured out that I can go this way. There wasn't me just following a marker going this way or seeing that the one fog of war on the map, yada, 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 like all that kind of stuff. Guides exist for this shit, so we need to discover it. And I think that's one thing that was really fun about OG Final Fantasies, and to give massive credit to Expedition 33, holy shit, bro. My favorite part of that game was the fact that there was no maps in the zones. I loved it. And the fact that the world map was godlike. The exploration in Expedition 33 was fucking awesome. And I just felt like I was legit getting really cool things and I was discovering it even though it was right in front of my face. Everybody's gonna do this. But because of it, you can miss a ton of shit. You can miss so much stuff. And just running around and doing shit felt great. It's my deep hope that they just give us that on a large scale. Even Expedition 33's world is on a small scale, technically. It's practically like large chibi characters running around a small map. I feel like you can accomplish that PlayStation-era Final Fantasy big open world on a large scale, and I think they're going to do that in Part 3, no shit. That's my hope. That's my personal hope of what the biggest gameplay difference will be from Part 1 to Part 2 to Part 3. Where Part 2 is getting you acclimated to the world and sort of like holding your hand through it, and Part 3 is like, here's everything now. Go have fun.
Let me get you a cold one. Try one of these. That is the best buffalo wing in the county.
You eat buffalo?
No, it's just chicken. It was invented in Buffalo, the city.
So it's not buffalo.
You're right, man.
It's quite spicy.
It's looking good. It's going in the right direction. The development's going well. And as I said, unfortunately, I'd love to be able to tell you about it, but I can't do that today. in the near future, we'll be able to announce it to everyone. And it really will be a fitting climax to the FF7 Remake series. So, hopefully you can look forward to seeing that information come soon. But in the meantime, I invite everyone to check out FF7 Remake on Nintendo Switch and Xbox to get ready for the third game. Rebirth will be on that sub too. You can have a lot of fun now, and you'll have even more fun later. I've been having dreams. Ever since the first interview started happening and they were quite literally addressing Part 3's existence, I've had dreams where I woke up the next day and I'm like, I can't believe it's FF7 Part 3 day. And just wondering what they do with it. 2 days in a row I've had dreams of me like wondering, dude, where'd all that time go? It feels like we were just talking about this. And in my dream, I'm like running around the world doing something that I can't pinpoint because it's a dream. But ever since this has happened, it's been like, my brain has been racing with this stuff. Just go back to sleep. It's gonna take like a year and a half for this thing to exist. I get it. But all I gotta say is that as handholdy as Rebirth's world was, the first playthrough of that shit was magical. I could not believe what I was playing. Amaguchi says playing the original game as a fan and now being able to revisit as a dev has been profound. It's deepened his respect for the story and characters. With Part 3, he hopes to deliver something that both honors that legacy and surprises the players. Cloud with the fusion sword, come on. It has to happen at some point. Follow me for a second. There is a flashback at some point where Cloud literally fights Sephiroth in a Advent Children style flashback. There is fusion sword mechanics. It plays differently. He plays differently than the character normally plays. Dope. But then you wake up from the dream and Cloud goes, that's weird. And then you just continue the game as you normally do and learn how to play the game that it wants you to play. But then you beat the game. And then on New Game Plus or Hard Mode, they're like, hey, here's that fusion sword with all of its mechanics, and you can use it in the regular game now. Just imagine. Please, dear God. I don't know what that is. Dying of Geoligma. Geoligma. That's crazy.
Good morning, team.
Don't miss one of the best movies of the year. Wow. It's charming and hilarious.
Oh, are you law enforcement?
Yeah.
With twists and turns you won't see coming. Oops. Wolfman.
We were torn apart at birth. That's dramatic.
This is the story of the best part of the sandwich and his crust.
How's it feel to be so irresistible?
Irresistible? Is that what people are saying?
That's it. Ugh, irresistible.
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich.
Yeah, there was a ton of friggin' Final Fantasy news that dropped over the weekend. Oh God. Is this whole video a video or is this video a whole video? Oh God. This is just, you know. Huh. Oh, this is like the trailer stuff with no music. Oh wow. How weird. It's the trailer elements, but they, you know, obviously don't have all the editing. You've all seen this. Chadley stuff, yeah, we did see these. Some side questicle. This is an interesting video. It's obviously new footage. Cool. This game needs farming and fishing, damn it. We saw all these for sure.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but if we keep using Mako to power our homes, springs like this will disappear, right?
What are you talking about? Who told you that?
My dad. And the member, if you must know.
I've always wondered.
Who's this crazy girl?
How does materia that cause spells is affected? How did you ever get to be that soldier? To put it simply, the knowledge of the ancients is sealed for Grand Tour. That knowledge not only commits us to the clinic, it allows us to tap into their power. That's how we can use magic. Or something say.
It's my favorite part of FF7 is the vacuuming scene.